Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Today I wanted to take a deeper dive into Foley and when, where, and how to use it. You might be asking why Foley. I believe the counter question to that is why not Foley. I don't think a track leaves my DAW anymore without at least one instance of Foley being used. Yeah, even if you're working on something more minimal like rhythm, I still firmly believe that adding the slightest bit of Foley in the background of an intro or a break is really worth your time, as it brings a lot of movement, tension, and life to that track. With that being said, let's get into the when and where of Foley. So Foley can essentially be used anywhere. It could be behind a pad, providing texture and movement to the sound. It could be behind drums, adding crunchy and groovy textures to the mix. It can even be your drums. Take a second to check out people like Burial or Koan Sound, for example, some of my favorites. If you were to take away the Foley and extra sounds out of their tracks, they simply wouldn't feel the same. That's because while Foley isn't the main component of a track itself, it's a necessary part of the track that could really set something apart from sounding bland, generic, or boring to something that sounds unique, professional, and having plenty of depth. There'll be a link to a small preview pack of Foley for free in the description of this video, with a full unlock over on my Patreon. So with all of that out the way, let's get into it. So first off, I want to start off with textures and pads, kind of like, putting them behind pads and textures at the intro of a track and how you can resample them. So let's open up a pack here, and we'll pick a random sample. Okay, I really like that sound, which is just, I guess, jiggling a bunch of matches in a box. And just to be kind of simple and easy, I'm going to give this its own track here. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm just going to slap it right here. Why not? And then I'm just going to take this Foley sample, cut it right on the bar, and copy and paste it or draw out the full 16 of this intro. And right now, I'm going to go ahead and play the actual piano itself that I've drawn. All right, so just a basic piano, nothing to it. It's basically just a bare intro that'll lead into something bigger. But what we want is to kind of add plenty of more depth to that. So let's go ahead and turn this on. And right now, it's going to sound like complete dog water. But we're going to do a lot of resampling to this and make it sound a lot better. So let's give it its own track. Now I'm going to give it something random because this is a project that I've already been working on. I'm going to put it at 19. We'll name this Texture Foley. And for this, I'm going to open up an Edison. And I'm going to open up a portal. And the purpose of this, especially this method with adding textures and resampling and doing all this kind of fun stuff, is mostly you just kind of want to stretch everything and granulize everything and just make fun, weird textures. And the way I like to achieve that is with this portal in Edison. You can also use the Fruity Granulizer, which is a free plugin. And there's plenty of other methods as well. And we'll get into some of those methods, such as automating EQs and stuff like that in just a second. So let's go ahead and press record on this Edison, and we'll start playing around with some random samples. All right, beautiful. So we have this Edison instance. It's a recorded little clip of all the different granulizations and weird things happening from our portal. And I'm just going to slap this in to our playlist here. And then what we can do after that is find little bits that we enjoy, cool sounds that we've made. I quite like this. And I'm going to make this unique and kind of stretch this to fit the bars a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect because it is just textures. I want to add something like this because I just feel like it's a little bit more ambient. It's a little more subtle, but it still adds the texture that I desire. Let's cut this up too. All right, so I'm finding this a little bit abrasive. I do enjoy it, but it's just a little too in your face for me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some post processing effects. I think the first instance we're going to do is I'm going to add a FabFilter Pro Q3. And I am going to slap a low cut on it just to get rid of some of those muddy frequencies. And then I'm going to add a little nipple right here and a little nipple right here. So now what we can do as we play our post-processed Foley, we can twist these knobs. And they add a little bit more depth to the mix. I think this is really important for a lot of sounds, and I actually do this with some of my background pads and synths as well, just to give it a little extra, you know, twists and turns and a little bit more movement. I think it's really important. Even if it's subtle, even if the average listener doesn't really catch it, it just adds a lot of interesting twists and turns into the mix. And I think that's really important. So let's draw in some random automation. And then we'll go back. Play with this knob. We'll do the same thing. It doesn't have to be, you know, precise. It can be if you like. Or you could just draw in random little up and down automations and get more precise as you go on if you so desire, or you can get really interesting sounds this way. So let's check it out now. Okay, so it's sounding a lot better. I'm actually really enjoying that. If you wanted to take it one step further, which you can, you could take it as far as you like, actually. I like doing a simple love filter. And then I like doing the preset twinkle, which will add some panning and some more auto filtering into the mix. So check this out. We could even go as far as putting some saturation on it, and we could just play with the presets here. I quite enjoy that. So, with all of that added, we could kind of increase or decrease the volume here. Because we want it there, we don't want it in your face, we want it kind of in the background. Perfect. Let's layer that with a synth or a little loop I have from Splice. And it sounds like this. Just some simple chimes. And I went ahead and granularized that here. So let's blend that all together and see what we have. Already we see a massive difference between this and this. Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted, and that's exactly what we got. more textures, more ambiance. It adds more depth to our intro of our track. Obviously, there more could be done, but we have so far a really good starting point. So with that being said, let's move on to the drums. Let's see what we could do with drums. All right, so with Foley with drums, there's a few really cool ways you can add stuff to it. So a very simple way is to just straight up take Foley, and chop it up. Always lower the volume on the Foley. You don't want it to be as loud as the drums. You kind of want it to be behind the drums, adding to it. Let's pick out some other things here. All right, so adding something simple like that could really change up the nature of your drums. I do this a lot, just kind of throwing random things in there, chopping them up, getting weird sounds. But there is another way, and you could get a little bit more extreme with it. So let's go to the brown bag. And what I'm going to do is cut it really short. Alright, sounds like shit. However, we'll put this one on 17. And we'll name this one Drum Foley. We'll add an EQ to it. Do the same thing, cut out some of those low frequencies. Create an automation clip. Draw in some random fun little lines. do the same thing with this one. I always do that. Okay, and it's still adding or sounding a bit abrasive. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do my normal love filter technique. I'm gonna set it to. Oh, thanks for that. I'm gonna set it to twinkle. And then, just to make it sound a little bit better, I like to throw on a flux mini. You can kind of play with the envelope a little bit, but just giving it just a shorter hit is what we're looking for. Okay, and we can barely hear it now. So I'm going to slap an OTT on it, of course. And just for shits and giggles, I'm going to try a wave shaper. Let's add an automation to this band pass. That's already adding a lot of life to those drums. I really enjoy this method. I use it for literally everything. You could even go as far as, let's say, okay, now I have all of that filtering on it. I'm going to resample this itself. And then now, do more chopping. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. You can make really interesting beats this way. You could even go as far as to um make bass lines with it. I mean, you could really do anything. So hopefully this cleared some stuff up and gave you some new perspectives and ideas. It's important to remember that Foley can be used for almost any matter, not only what I showed you, but the right resampling, you could turn Foley into just about anything. In my opinion, it's one of the aspects of producing that's most enjoyable. Maybe if you guys are interested, I could do a deep dive in turning into Foley into bass lines and stuff like that. Let me know down in the comments what you think, if you like to use Foley, if you learned anything new, etc. And remember, I'm going to be giving away an exclusive Foley pack of 30 plus unique processed sounds over on my Patreon. And you can grab the free preview of that pack in the description. So let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. Peace.